It's December. It's not as cold as it was the other night, and it is the Papa John's Trophy, and Argyle are only 3 wins away from Wembley. Hello, good evening and greetings from Home Park, where Argyle are in knockout action this evening in the Papa John's Trophy in a round of 16 match against AFC Wimbledon. An away trip to Bristol Rovers is up for grabs for the winner of tonight's game. And coming up over the next 45 minutes, we will be bringing you all the news from this evening's game. First team coach Kevin Nanskivell will be giving his thoughts on how far the Greens can go in the Papa John's Trophy, and we will also be joined live by none other than Simon Hallett. Also braving the cold tonight with me is former Argyle defender Mark Edworthy. And Mark, it's the last game before Christmas this evening, and the prize tonight, if we win, is a spot in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, good evening everybody, and yeah, rightly so. It's a fantastic opportunity. Is my mic working now?
Oh, hang on. Give us a slight. There we go.
Okay, yeah.
The dulcet tones of Mark.
Yeah,
have
exactly.
arrived.
And the technology, of course. Yeah. So firstly, the pitch looking in fantastic condition. As you rightly said, a bit warmer this evening. We've had some awful conditions, but the groundsman against Morecambe on the weekend did a fantastic job, and it was a fantastic performance. But away from the league campaign, as you said, we're in the last 16 this evening. Potential getting into the quarterfinals against Bristol Rovers. So. Really mouth-watering opportunity, won't it be?
Yeah. I mean, I think we've spoken about this before, but it just feels like the further we get in this competition, initially it's like, Papa John's Trophy, but the further we get, Wembley is, at the end if we do our 3 more wins, and it's, it's a great opportunity for Argyle and its fans.
Of course, it'd be interesting to see how many do turn up tonight. I know it's a difficult time. It's midweek. It's another cup competition, obviously close to Christmas, but the weekend the fans come out, and they're a huge support to the football club, as we know. But it will be interesting to see if we do end up with the Wembley Stadium, then I'm pretty sure the whole of Plymouth will be empty that day.
Yeah, we were saying beforehand, we were on air, that I think if Argyle did make it to the final and they got to Wembley, it would certainly be a big crowd drawer, and everyone would love to be part of that, wouldn't they?
Oh, of course they would, yeah. Cup competition is also great for confidence as well. We know it is a bit of a break from the league campaign, but it's going so well, and it'd be interesting to see what Schumacher does with his team tonight. But yeah, it's a great occasion, and yeah, it's just nice that it's a mild night this evening as well.
Yeah, you know what? It's not so bad, because you were here at the weekend when we had our last game here. A little bit nippy there, but the sun was out, and we've got to just touch very briefly on how Argyle are doing in the league as well. Back up, top of the league. It was a good game at the weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah, fantastic game. I think Obviously did the game with Charlie, and it was waves of attack, and the longer it went on, Morecambe, obviously, Derek Adams come here, former club, we know that, and he wanted to put on a show. And I think if you've been here after about sort of 10, 15 minutes, you wouldn't believe that Morecambe was sitting bottom of League One. Yeah. It's a really competitive league, and that's why it's so difficult to get out of these days. You know, every team you play against, and of course Argyle flying high. But it was a fantastic occasion. The crowd were really a great support. They were the 12th man on the day.
Yeah.
And thankfully we did get the goals we needed. We made, you know, it was a bit touchy towards the end of the game when they scored late on to make it 2-1, but fully deserved that 3 points and sitting top of the table again, which is fantastic.
And hopefully we can see that kind of drive and passion from Argyle again tonight. We will be hearing from the Argyle camp in just a second about the game this evening, but let's have a little look at the team news for tonight. We've got an interesting, it's obviously slightly different to the setup that we have for the league games. A nice mix in here tonight that we were looking at, wasn't it, Mark? So just to read it out for you on screen, we have Callum Burton, Jordan Houghton is the captain this evening, Dan Scarr, Matt Butcher, Ryan Hardy, Sam Cosgrove, Finlay Crask, Brandon Purcell, Jack Endicott, Oscar Halls and Caleb Roberts. And then on the subs bench we have Michael Cooper, Barley Mumba, Morgan Whittaker, Adam Randall, Nigel Lomvike, Will Jenkins-Davies and Freddie Isaka. It's pretty much a 50-50 split between academy players and first team tonight, isn't it, Mark?
Yeah, it certainly is, and it's a great opportunity for the youngsters. We talk about academy players in young professionals, first-year pros, and it's a great stage for them as well, getting used to playing at home park in these sort of competitions. And we've got some experienced players, obviously Ryan Hardy and Cosgrove up front, leading the line, a real attacking force, and you know those two could be your starting lineup on Saturday. So yeah, I think he wants to do well in this competition. He has respected Wimbledon by putting out a really strong side.
Yeah. Do you think as well these kind of competitions, these kind of cup games offer a really good opportunity as well for these academy players to not only show what they're about but integrate in with the first team players and work with them in that way?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's a massive bonus for them and a great opportunity for them to play as well, to get some experience here playing at home park, mixing with the first team players. I know Shuey's brilliant at doing that, and he makes them, going down and train. So the environment's very easy to come into. It's not like a big fright or stage fright for them.
Yeah.
They're sort of comfortable in their environment. I think that's shown in previous rounds. And there's some super talent on show as well. These youngsters are, the future of the football club.
Yeah. And we've got Hardy and Cosgrove starting tonight. They were subbed on in the game that we had at the weekend, so that'll be nice to see them out and get a lot of minutes tonight, hopefully.
It will be. As I said, I think those two could easily be in the starting 11 any weekend. So it just goes to show that Shuey's got, a real good resource regarding his squad situation. Hardy's been in great form. I think he's our top scorer at the moment. And Cosgrove comes off the bench the weekend to score as well. So, two really top players. And also it's competition for places, which I really like anyway, which keeps the whole squad in good form. And that's why we're sitting top of the table.
And also worth mentioning the rotation of goalkeepers, because this gives Callum Burton a chance to show what he's about, doesn't it? Because Michael Cooper, we know, is fantastic and he is our number one, but Callum Burton as well, good to see the crowd getting behind him when he plays during these kind of matches.
Yeah, definitely. I think Callum deserves a chance as well. It's very difficult when you've got someone like Mike Cooper in goal. He's in fantastic form, needed to be against Morecambe the weekend, pulled off some real vital saves. But, he's gaining experience as well, and I think we're very fortunate at the football club to have some top quality keepers here, because he is a superb keeper.
Yeah. We'll have a look at the AFC Wimbledon team as well. They are who we will be going up against tonight. Interesting stats on one of the players, which we'll just have a look at in a second. But here are your starting 11. They are Nathan Broom, Chris Gunter, Alex Woodyard, Josh Davison, Ayub Asal, Riley Towler, Kyle Hudlin, Alfie Bendel, Courtney Senior, Jack Curry and Paul Cambalai. Now, Kyle Hudlin, let me make sure I get this right, is apparently 6'9".
6'9", wow.
So that is going to be an interesting dynamic.
It certainly is.
Pitch.
I remember, I think we had a quick story off air. I remember playing with Peter Crouch, and I think Crouch, he was like 6'7".
Yeah.
And I didn't want to mark him at corners, so let alone marking this guy at corners. He's obviously going to be a real asset, and I know technically he's quite good as well. Everybody thinks because you're such a tall player, everybody's going to chuck the ball up to you, and all you can do is head the ball. But you've got to give these guys credit. Going back to Peter Crouch, he was technically brilliant as well. He's a great goal scorer. So, he's going to be a threat in both boxes, defensively and attacking-wise. So we're going to make sure, we obviously stop the supply into him, because I think anywhere near him, how do you defend that sort of thing? So we've got to make sure that all our players are stopping the supply to him tonight. But he's going to be a real threat.
Yeah, I mean, we noticed the presence of someone like Sam Cosgrove when he comes on for us because he's a big guy. But I think this may be something slightly different. Tallest player in the world, apparently, which is quite a little Guinness Book of World Records
about
thing.
Cosgrove looking up to someone, that just goes to show how big he is. So it's going to be a challenge, but I think all the players like his challenge as well, and that's certainly going to be one tonight.
Yeah. Now, AFC Wimbledon, they didn't actually play at the weekend because of a frozen pitch. Do you think that will have much of an impact on them not coming off the back of another game like Argyle?
I think Argyle will be full of confidence as well, come back on a win as well. As we said, winning's a great habit and they'll breed confidence, but they'll be well rested. They'll be looking forward to the game, expect them to start really quickly.
Yeah.
And as we said, the opportunity of getting into the quarterfinals of the Cup, it is great for Wimbledon. Financially, it'd be good for them. I think we've got to mention Josh Davison. He's their top scorer, the number 9. We've got to watch out for him. So, it's a great opportunity for them as well.
Yeah, and winning 5 out of their last 8 as well. Those are some pretty good statistics as well to come into the game. I think certainly. Do you think it will be relatively level pegging? Or?
I think so, yeah. I mean, again, they're in League 2. I think they sit 12th in League 2, but it's irrelevant on Cup competition. Yeah. We said that about the league campaign on the weekend. Who would believe Morecambe was sitting bottom of the table? It really is. And when, no disrespect to Wimbledon, when you come and see the pitch tonight and the atmosphere which is going to be created here, it's a fantastic arena to play in, so expect them to raise their game for that as well.
Yes, we like it when people bring a good challenge to home park, as long as obviously we end up coming out on top. Now, don't forget, you can get in touch with us and let us know your thoughts, what you're looking forward to the game, where in the world you're watching from. We do like to every so often see where our furthest fan is. I think we had Bahamas and Japan at the weekend. So
Bahamas would be nice at this time of year, I'm sure. It is warm there, I'll take it this time of year.
I think so. Is it ever cold?
Oh, exactly. So there'll be very nice and warm, because we have, as we said last week, the temperatures were incredible. They minus, and then it's warmed up, and so it just goes to show that Argyle globally are well supported.
Well, as they say, Argyle are massive.
They certainly are.
Let's hear where you are watching from. We'd love to hear from you. Now, we're going to go over to the Argyle camp, and Kevin Nanskville's on media duty this week, and he sat down with Charlie Price to talk about the different pressures now that the final is so close.
Looking forward to it. It's a great chance for us to progress in the competition. We've done well in it so far, so we've got a stiff challenge tomorrow night against Wimbledon, but looking forward to it. All good to go.
It is kind of they always say the quarterfinals is one of the stages of any competition where it's just like, right, that's when you start thinking about winning it. Are you guys doing that yet?
No, not yet. I think Wimbledon will be saying the same thing. So no, we got a big game tomorrow night. They're in a good vein of form, Wimbledon, so we know what we're up against. So let's get tomorrow night out of the way. Hopefully we get the right result, and then we can maybe start thinking about what could happen.
And what could happen, I'm going to do it now, is a Wembley final, piece of silverware. And that's, I think, when the competition does get kind of hammered at the start of it, that's what people do forget, that it's a magnificent opportunity for a day at Wembley and some silverware.
Yeah, definitely, and that's what it's all about. So we're fully aware of that. But like I said, we just at the minute focus on the next game, which is Wimbledon. Fingers crossed we get the result. We'll be well prepared. We've had a good day's training today. The lads are ready to go. So let's see what tomorrow brings, and then we can look forward to the next few rounds, hopefully.
You mentioned they're in a good run of form. Johnny Jackson got Manager of the Month as well for November. They have been, haven't they? I think there's like one defeat in not quite a few games. Yeah. How are you looking at them? How do you see them?
Again, it's difficult because, I mean, they've made changes in the Papa John's Trophy as we have, so to gauge their team is always going to be a little bit more difficult than if it would be if it was a league game. But they're in a good run of form. They'll want to keep that going. They'll be saying exactly the same things as we're saying. They see a potential trip to Wembley, not too far away, so they'll be coming down, I'm sure, expecting to give us a right good game, and may the best team win.
How important have these games been for the squad, do you think, this season as well, as much as anything?
I think they've been invaluable for some of the lads to get minutes in that haven't been playing regularly or coming back from injury, but also for the young lads to get games on the first team environment, on the pitch, in a cup competition with senior players has been fantastic. We've seen a lot of them involved, and hopefully we'll see some more tomorrow night.
Yeah, and on the youngsters as well, I mean, you hear it from managers that it's like, or coaches, it's all well and good, giving youngsters a chance in this competition, but it's about taking it, and you could reel off every single one of them that's come in and done well. We've seen first goals, we've seen first games, we've seen good performances, haven't we?
Yeah, and they have to earn the right, first of all, to be involved, one, in the squad, and then secondly, to get a chance to start in the team. They've done that, and when they have done it, they've taken their opportunity. You know, the gaffer's shown all the way through his time here that he's always prepared to put them in if they're good enough. Age isn't a barrier, but they have to be good enough and they have to earn the right. And they've done that, and when they've played, they've not let anybody down. They've done the club proud. So, you know, fingers crossed we'll get an opportunity to give some more of them some minutes tomorrow.
And just finally, I know Christmas, it doesn't stop in the football world, but it'd be quite nice to sign off before Christmas with a win, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we want to keep the momentum going. You know, we had a great win on Saturday, really good performance. Everyone's come in with a new spring in their tail as such, and we're good to go. And we, like you said, we want to keep the winning momentum going, and we're definitely fully focused on hopefully beating Wimbledon tomorrow.
Mark, do you think there'll be a little bit of pressure now that Argyle are, you know, progressing so well through this competition, or do you think this is the kind of competition where, you know, it's not the end of the world if we don't get through?
I think winning, as we said, breeds confidence, and you know, you got to embrace the pressure. I really do. And me and Kev go back a long way when he was playing. Funny enough, I had some friends here and they wanted to come and see the game. And I was like, hey, no problem, yeah, I'll take you around. And it was more fascinating seeing Kevin and his goal scoring record than actually, you know, talking about my career. So I've got to give Kev a great mention. He's doing a great job, good friend of mine. And yeah, he's the sort of person you need around the players as well. So Kev will breed confidence. He'll embrace the pressure. And, you know, it's all part of any game, isn't it? You've got to have them sort of butterflies in your stomach. But I think when the game starts, that's why we're sitting top of the league. We've handled the pressure well. You are the team to beat, and I think you just got to enjoy these occasions.
How do you think the dynamic changes from the last round to now? Because, you know, obviously the closer you get, the narrower the margins, and then, you know, the closer we get to Wembley. So do you think there will be an increased element of pressure from Schumacher coming into this one as we just get closer and closer?
Well, I think it reflect on what he's done tonight. He's gone with an experienced team, and also he's breeded some youngsters who can handle this occasion. You know, they'll thrive on this occasion as well. They're talented players as well. And to think we potentially could be in the quarter-final, and then you're talking if we win against Bristol Rovers, you in the semi-finals, and then things could start really hotting up.
Yeah. We managed to win on Saturday after a little spell without a win. Do you think that will have boosted the team coming into tonight as well?
Yeah, definitely. I think it was people said we had a bit of a sticky patch, but we only lost our home form or first home league campaign against Port Vale. Up until then, we've been on a fantastic run. I think every run's got to come to an end at some stage, and you start another run. I think it was really important we beat Morecambe at the weekend, which we did. I think we played superbly well. You could sense the nerves and the amount of chances we created, but in the end, we were worthy winners. And I think that will breed into tonight as well. We've won the weekend, so I think the guys will be really confident tonight. Yeah.
And then finally, is there anyone on the team sheet tonight that you're particularly looking forward to seeing? I know you mentioned off-air Ryan Hardy is somebody that you really look for.
Yeah, Ryan Hardy, I think he's been in great form. He's our top goal scorer, Cosgrove. But for me, it's my son's here as one of the scholars, so the youngsters coming through tonight. We talked about Caleb Roberts, Freddie Izaka's on the bench, Jack Endicott, Oscar Hawes. There's a super amount of talent there tonight, and look forward to them playing as well. They deserve their chance, and I think they can embrace that tonight as well.
Absolutely, it's good to support them in a home crowd environment. Coming up in just a second on Argyle TV, we will be joined by Chairman Simon Hallett. Now he is coming up next. You are watching Argyle TV. We are here tonight at Home Park for Argyle v AFC Wimbledon in the round of 16 of the Papa John's Trophy. Simon Hallett, Argyle's chairman, will be joining us in just a second, and one of the topics that he has to talk about is Evergreen. You will have no doubt seen the club's new promotional information about the new fan-led membership scheme, and it's one of the areas of the club that benefits from Evergreen is the academy. Now here is Phil Stoke, the academy manager, talking about exactly how Evergreen memberships can make a difference.
Yeah, what I enjoy about working with the Argyle Academy is seeing the young players progress and develop right through the age groups, from the little-ins, the under-7s, all the way through to the under-18s. And seeing them develop not just only as a player but as a person as well throughout their time in the academy, learning lots of different skills on and off the pitch that enables them to go and progress.
Hi, Erin.
Our aim is to get them into the first team and replicate, you know, what Mike Cooper and Adam Randall and all those academy graduates have come and gone and doing very well at the moment, but also, you know, further on into life, and whether that's into universities or into the wider game, you know, and playing locally at a really high level. You know, we have a lot of pride, and we're very proud of the players that come through and develop and go into our first team, but also as much those that go on into the wider game and into our society. Yeah, what would be on our wish list at the moment would be a number of different areas and projects that we've got. You know, I think we've done really well over the last couple of years, but we're really looking towards our tours and tournaments programme, particularly to give our players that life experience, not just from a football perspective in terms of the challenge and the competitive nature that those tournaments would bring and enhance and fast track our players' development to the next level, but also those experiences they get from going to different competitions, different countries potentially, and all of the life skills that come with that. I think the Evergreen programme would allow us to certainly expand our variety, you know, across the age groups, not just the older age groups, all the way through, so that players leaving our system, you know, have a really good understanding of tournament football across a number of different areas. The supporters would be massive. You know, if they can get behind the programme and back us and back the programme, it'll make such a huge difference, not just to the football operations but the academy moving forward. You know, we're really excited about the impact that this could make for our young players' development, not just for the here and now but for the future and years and many years to come.
I am delighted to say that Argyle chairman Simon Hallett now joins me. Simon, how are you doing this evening?
Doing really well, thanks, Erin. How are you doing?
I'm very good. Welcome to the gantry.
Thank you very much. It's a fantastic place. I don't think I've ever been invited up here before.
Have you not? This is where a lot of the Argyle TV magic happens, but we're not going to talk about the gantry, as thrilling as that would be for me. We're going to talk about Evergreen. Just talk to us a little bit about Evergreen and how it's been so far since the launch.
Well, so far since the launch, we've had a fantastic response. We're already generating more revenue than we were generating with the Big Green Lottery, and relative to a couple of the other clubs that have tried this kind of setup, Wigan and Aberdeen, we're way ahead of where they were after this stage. So the response has been amazing. Yeah, really good.
And how excited are you about it personally? Because it does seem like a great opportunity for the club.
Yeah, it is. It's a great opportunity to bring supporters far and near closer to the club. And you know, it's not all just about the discounts. I mean, what's on offer is fantastic, but this is really the setup that we came up with in exchange for being able to offer fans shares. As you may remember, a couple of years ago I tried very hard to arrange a share offer for fans and it proved impossible. So this is a replacement, and it's really about membership is the key thing. And it's a way for us to engage better with our fans, whether they be in Plymouth, Devon, the Southwest, or you know, Japan and the rest of the world.
I mean, we would have seen in the promotional video for it a lot of people saying, I am Evergreen, myself, yourself included, but a lot of fans from all around the world, which is really nice to see.
It was fantastic to see. You know, I think we had our friend in Japan, we had a couple of the Argyle Green members, Nick and Victor, chipping in. But, they're already here.
Yeah.
It's the ones that weren't there to say hello that we're looking for. And I think from the people I know in the US, it's been almost universal take-up. So I'm really excited that we'll be able to build a really big fan base and offer, everything that Argyle has to offer to them.
And then with the Evergreen programme, whereabouts in the club do you think it will benefit? In the
This is guesswork, but I'm going to guess it will be the academy.
Yeah.
In some ways, I wish it was sports science. That's an area where we can continue to get strong.
Yeah.
But I think fans are drawn to our plans for the academy, and I suspect that's what they'll want to support.
Yeah, well, fantastic, and hopefully we'll be able to see it all come to fruition in due time. On to the football now. We are progressing quite well in this competition. How good would it be to win and take the fans to Wembley?
Oh, it would be fantastic. I mean, a day out at Wembley is what every fan kind of dreams of.
Yeah.
And, I was just noting to a fan group yesterday that everybody knocks the Papa John's trophy until there's a chance of going to Wembley. And then 40,000 people want 20,000 tickets.
Yeah.
So, getting to Wembley would be absolutely wonderful. But, there's a few games to go before we get there.
How realistic do you think it is? I see you being slightly not hedging your bets there with it.
Yeah, hedging my bet.
I mean, it would be fantastic.
But it would be fantastic. Look, and, the way... being top of League One, we've got to be amongst the favourites. Yes. So if there's a chance to get there, then I think this year is it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Argyle in the league as well. We've got to touch on that. Back again, top of the league. It must be a very nice place to see the club. It's
fantastic. Let's remember that our under-18s are top of their league. The first team is obviously top of League One. Absolutely fantastic. I think we've ridden our luck a bit. I'm slightly surprised to see us where we are. We've got some massive games coming up, with Bolton, Ipswich, particularly other contenders in January. But, to be here at Christmas when we're almost halfway through the season is a terrific achievement. And, whatever happens for the rest of the season, I think this has been a good one. Yeah, and with it being Christmas, we're about to close the year out. Of course, we're in the middle of the football season, but it's an opportunity to reflect on 2022 as a whole. Yeah. How have you found the year for the club, both on the pitch and off the pitch? We've seen changes happening around the stadium, which are looking very good. What's your reflection on this year? I think this year's just been a continuation of, the last 4 years, really. I've been talking to a bunch of fan groups, and indeed today, to the whole staff, and took the opportunity to go back 4 years when I became chairman, when the board put in place a very clear strategy of what we saw as the vision for the club, with some pretty concrete examples of what we wanted to see achieved. Yeah. There were 17 sentences, and we've ticked them all off, which is fantastic. Quite remarkable. Yeah. So this year has been another year of progress, but the last 4 years have really been remarkable. And 2023, the vision continues? The vision continues. I think in some ways we need to rewrite it, because we've done everything that we set up to do. So really the next 4 years is going to be about, as we've already hinted, but not quite yet able to come out with firm plans, it's going to be about addressing the infrastructure problems that we have at Argyle, that we don't have adequate resources, adequate pitches, adequate training facilities for our first team. Yeah. So the next 5 years is going to be about building football infrastructure, not just the infrastructure for our fans that we've concentrated on in the last 4 years. Fantastic. And finally, Simon, are we keeping you over in the UK for Christmas? Yeah. Well, you're keeping me. I think my kids have thrown me out. I've got 3 daughters. Jane and I have 3 daughters, and they're all on the in-law cycle this year. Oh, I see. So that probably means it's going to be very busy this year, but it means that this year we can spend time watching football. Yeah. And I'm very close to my sister and her family, so we'll be spending time with John and Susie in Crediton. Fantastic. Sounds like a lovely time. Well, have a lovely Christmas. Have a lovely Christmas yourself. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoy the bingo. Oh, yes, the bingo. We won't go into the bingo, but I'll do my best. Thank you, Simon. And I really appreciate your time as well. Thank you for joining us. My pleasure. Thanks, Erin. Right, coming up next then for you, we will recap on the team news and keep on building up to kick-off, so don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to Argyle TV. Don't forget, you can get in touch with us and we would love to hear from you. We'll be catching up at half-time and full-time. For now, though, before we have a little look at the team news once more ahead of kickoff, let's have a look at our opponents and see what they've been up to. The highlights from their last game is going to be available to you to watch in just a moment. It was 2 weeks ago against Swindon Town. Let's have a look. A little look at our opposition for this evening there. Now, we are just under half an hour's time away from kickoff this evening, so let's remind ourselves of the teams that are playing tonight. We will start with Argyle's starting 11 up on the screen for you there. We've got Burton, Scar, Crask, Purcell, Halls, Houghton, captaining the team this evening, Butcher, Endicott, Roberts, Hardy and Cosgrove. And on the bench, Cooper, Lonvike, Mumba, Randall, Jenkins, Davies, Isaka and Whitaker. We spoke a little bit earlier, Mark, about how the starting 11 is a bit of a mix, but the bench is as well. We've got Will Jenkins-Davies, Freddie Isaka in the mix there. You're expecting maybe Freddie might start this evening, but it's nice to see that I'm sure we'll see him in some shape or another.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll get some minutes tonight. As you said, it's an opportunity again for Brian Hardy and Sam Cosgrove to get a start. But it just goes to show strength in depth, doesn't it? Yeah. If we look at that team there and potentially with the subs, that could be a starting lineup for any League One game, couldn't it? So it's great to have strength in depth. We need it over this festive period. Obviously, it's a bit of a breakaway from the league campaign tonight, but over this festive period, there's a lot of games in a short period of time, and all these players are obviously going to be potentially used over that time.
Yeah, and Barley Mumba put a very good shift in at the weekend. I think he'll be hoping to come on at some point as well tonight, do you think?
Yeah, I think Barley was excellent the weekend. He was my man of the match. He was outstanding. He's been outstanding since he's been on loan here from Norwich, and I think he cuts in from the left-hand side. And he was a real threat against Morecambe. Every time he got the ball, he literally is one of those players who excites, doesn't he? Yeah. So he came in, he cut inside, and he pulled back a couple of times on many occasions, and it was just a case or a time when Argyle were going to score. But for me, yeah, he's in great form, and he was my man of the match at the weekend.
Yeah, and we've spoken a lot about striking talent and the up front this evening, but defensively, how do you think Argyle are looking tonight? Do you think they will be troubled too much by AFC Wimbledon?
Yeah, I think you've got to respect the opposition. They've come in with a really strong side, and potentially to be in the quarterfinals of any competition, and a mouth-watering tie against Bristol Rovers, and they're going to, both teams are going to really enjoy that opportunity of playing Bristol Rovers. Again, it's another tough game, but they'll feel they can progress in this competition. But Dan Scar's back in. I thought the weekend is good to have him back in with his experience. He's very dominant back there, isn't he? And it's normally him who starts between, he's normally the centre of three players or three central defenders. So, he's been vital having him back after obviously they're sending off and missing vital games for us.
Now, we had Brian doing commentary with us on Argyle TV at the weekend, and we touched a little bit on the injuries that Argyle seem to be picking up. But Stephen Schumacher seems to have assimilated a side that seem to be working around it. What are your thoughts in terms of injuries and players and how everything's being managed here?
Yeah, I think this is why the squad situation is vitally important. Be interesting to see what we do. I know that we just had the chairman on. Be interesting to see what happens in the transfer window in January, because we are in a great position in the league, and it goes to show this festive period. There's so many games in a short period of time, and players are going to be used. And over that period, players are going to get tired. Believe it or not, they are going to pick up injuries. The weather didn't help when you're playing in minus condition and it warms up. So, yeah, there has been a few injuries. That's frustrating for any manager. But also what it does, it gives opportunities for other players. And I think the youngsters playing tonight to an opportunity really to get in Shuey's first team lineup. Yeah.
Do you think Shuey's kind of having to play it a little bit strategically with like the mix of players we see this evening, because he obviously doesn't want his top players to be caught up by an injury in a game like today, because that will affect their really good position in the league?
Well, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because you want to progress in any cup competition. Financially, the chairman will say it'll be great for them, but I think our bread and butter has got to be a league campaign. This club now, if you look at the facilities, and we're here on the gantry, and it looks in great condition, the pitch and the stadium's in fantastic, and it is potentially, because we're not there yet. It's championship status, isn't it? You've got to earn the right to get there. We are earning the right so far because we are top of the table, but unfortunately, there's a few games to go before we can say we've got championship status, but we're going in the right direction. I think the chairman's doing a fantastic job. The support at the football club is great. And you've got to be positive and embrace that situation, because if we can get in the championship, it'll be great for the city and the football club. Yeah.
I mean, I remember when Argyle were in the championship back in the day. I think I came to the game where we got promoted, and the atmosphere was amazing. I can only imagine the calibre of fans that we've got and the passion that they show. If Argyle were to pull it off this season, the scenes would be unparalleled, I think.
Well, you hear that so many times, don't you, about, we've got the facilities, we've got the players, but unfortunately you've got to earn the right to get championship status. I think Ian Holliday was one of the managers there at the time. I remember coming back here, the first time in all my career after starting here and coming back to play Argyle was in the championship when I was at Derby. And look, if we look around us, it potentially is a fantastic club for championship status. We are heading in the right direction. We've got to embrace that, as I've said so many times. And I think with the manager we've got now, the chairman and the players, why not? People always say about, don't talk about promotion. Well, that's where we want to head, and that's the league we want to be in.
Yes. I mean, naturally, the only way is up. Argyle,
exactly right.
Want to keep going. And we spoke to Simon there, and he said his, plans and ambitions for the club are part of a 4-year plan that's already been, and he's already got his eyes on the next 4 years and just continuing to build not only Argyle, but he specifically mentioned the academy. I know that's something you're very passionate about as well, isn't it? The academy players and really elevating them.
I think it is, because they're the future of any football club. They earn their stock when they play tonight. They're on show. It's on TV. It's a great competition, potentially to get into the quarterfinals. And the academy is a big part of any football club. I think our academy is in great shape. We've got some fantastic youngsters. But not only that, if you get into that status in the championship, then obviously the chairman will be looking for new investors, and investors want to be involved in a successful club, and that's certainly the way Argyle are going at the moment.
Fortunately, we've got to make sure we get through tonight.
Of course,
to continue the dream, to keep everything going. And I think it makes sense to have a look at who we are up against. Our opposition tonight is AFC Wimbledon. This is their starting lineup: Broom, Gunter, Towler, Curry, Kalambiai, Woodyard, Asal, Bendel, Davison, Hoodlin and Senior. Are there any names that stand out to you particularly, Mark, AFC Wimbledon on your radar?
Well, I think we don't know a huge amount about them, but respect is one word I'd use, definitely. I know they're sitting 12th in League Two. They've had I think they beat Sutton in the last round. And Josh Davison, we talked about him, the number 9, he's their top scorer. And I think you've got to respect any team that come here. They're going to thrive at the pitch and these conditions. We talked about that. It's a big game for them. And also it's a mouth-watering tie for them, Bristol Rovers, in the next round. So I think Shuey would have prepped his team for that. We know the situation. Any team you come up against, you've got to respect the opposition. You've got to earn the right to win the game by winning your tackles and hopefully going on to win the game. But, they're going to be a threat. And they haven't played, as we said, they've had a bit more of a rest. We played against Morecambe at the weekend. But we're thriving with confidence from that win at the weekend, a 2-1 victory.
When it comes to, relatively rapid succession of games that we see over this kind of winter period. Do you think it helps or hinders Argyle, for example, coming, what are we now, 3-4 days after a game, and then AFC Wimbledon will presumably have had about a week maybe since their last one. Do you think that benefits one side more than the other?
Sometimes it can. I think we said winning is a great habit, and you don't train so much. When games come so quick and thick and fast, it's just like training sessions. You're playing games all the time. It's repetitive stuff. So players enjoy playing games. And not only that, when you're winning games, it becomes a bit more easier. If you're constantly losing or you're battling relegation, then I think then it becomes a bit of a challenge for you. And, it sort of drags. But at the moment, I think the players in the Argyle camp just look forward to every game.
Yeah. And we've got to mention, like you said, that this element of respect for AFC Wimbledon, because while they are the division below, they are still at the exact same point in this competition as Argyle are. So, there isn't, in terms of separating them, that kind of, it doesn't exist in a cup game, does it?
No, it doesn't. Of course it doesn't. And they're going to be full of confidence, and they're going to come here expecting to win. They've set up themselves, and they've got a really strong side tonight. And I think, League Two, it's a scope for them as well if they beat Argyle. You think they're coming here tonight, and we're sitting top of League One.
Yeah.
If they go away and beat us tonight, it's a fantastic scope for them, and that'll breed confidence for the remainder of their season in this competition and the league campaign.
Yeah, we'll just have to hope that we prevail. Can I push you for a score prediction?
I think we're going to go and win. I'm going to say 2-1 to Argyle. I think the form we're in, they will be tough opposition, but I'm definitely going for a home win.
Yeah, I like that. I think we're all going for a home win, to be honest. That's the plan. Thank you, Mark. In just a couple of minutes, we're going to be handing away to Reece and Charlie for the commentary. What do you want to see from Argyle today? Obviously, we want the 2-1 win, but in terms of how they play on the pitch, what are you looking for?
I think you just want players to play with confidence. I'm really looking forward to the youngsters play. I think they'll add energy and enthusiasm, and we've got some real experienced players in there. We talked about Ryan Hardy and Cosgrove. They want to lead their line. They want to add goals. Ryan Hardy's our top goal scorer. He wants to keep that fate as well. So I'm looking forward to the game. I think it's going to be an open game, but hopefully exciting. And the way we have played here at Home Park, we've been creating so many chances. Hope that can continue tonight.
And the last game before Christmas, so it would be good to end on a little high there before the big day.
Well, it would be great because we're sitting top of the table in League One, and to go into the quarterfinals of the EFL Cup would be a fantastic Christmas present, wouldn't it?
It would.
Well, I had to say that is very tacky, but we had to get it in.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's right. It's a good Christmas present, and you don't need to buy it for anyone. So
no, exactly.
That's a win as well.
It's on show. It's on show.
It's all here. Now, I've got to have a little look at I've had some screenshots sent through in terms of social media. We've got all of our information along the bottom of the screen then. So we've got Mike in Virginia, Sam is in Houston. Somebody's written Sam Huston. Who did that? Sam in Texas and Ben in Switzerland. So I think those are probably our top three in terms of watching from further afield. Not quite the Bahamas, but
pretty not the warmth we were hoping for.
Texas,
but it just goes to show globally we're well supported. I think it's fantastic for the football club that so many people are tuned in, and the social media gives that platform, doesn't it? So yeah, great for them to be tuned in. Yeah,
the Greens in America in particular, very good fans. We like to see it when they get in touch. Right, we are just approaching 1:45 the hour now, which means kickoff is just over 15 minutes away. The action will be with you very shortly, so just a reminder that if you would like to stream the game, you can live across the world. It costs just £10 to watch all the action tonight, and keep all your comments coming in to me and Mark, and we will be reading them out again at half-time. At Argyle on Twitter is the one for that. Argyle against AFC Wimbledon tonight, round of 16 in the Papa John's Trophy, and it will be in the company of former Argyle goalkeeping manager Reece Wilmot and Charlie Price to take you all the way through it.
Good evening. And we are just 3 wins away from Wembley. How about that, eh? You've got to get past AFC Wimbledon today and then the other tests to follow. But it is a fit away from league action for Argyle tonight. The Papa John's Trophy round of 16 tie.